Beethoven, and we'll do the question answers today. A part. Why did Beethoven avoid meeting people? When he initially realized that his hearing power of hearing is is decreasing, and although he knew that it will not happen in a day, but he also knew that things that he will lose his ability to hear gradually, with the passage of time. And he stopped going out. If you remember, on the first page, on page number 114, it says that he, at the age of 25, when he was struck by this disease, he stopped going out, and he stopped going for social gatherings for almost 2 years, because he was not able to accept the fact that he's losing the ability to hear things. So, and he also, and at the same time, he did not want to accept it also. So, and it was very difficult for him to communicate, because he did not know what the other person is saying. So that is why he stopped going for social gatherings, or parties, or in anywhere where he has to meet people, for almost 2 years. And the second reason that you have to give two reasons, is that it says here, mm, because he could not allow he could he nor could he allow them to know. He did not want people to know, you know that he was becoming deaf. So, it was very difficult for him to cure to sorry to for to understand, to communicate. But most painful was to accept the fact, you know and he's trying to say that one of the most painful things was to accept the fact that he's becoming deaf, and there is no treatment or cure for this. And that actually, affected him a lot, in the first place, when he heard about his disease for the first time. So, in totality, these, or both, for A part and second and B part, you have to write this in 75 words. Whenever you're writing, please understand, and please try to write things in order. I did mention it initially also, that this is called cohesive writing, and you have to break your conversation into 2 to 3 paragraphs. And you need to change the topic from subtopic. And when you're sitting for your board examinations in your 10th grade, there's something called cohesive writing, which always has a window to give you one to 1.5 mark extra marks. So please prepare yourself, keep things a habit of practicing these small things, which will help you to fetch more marks in higher classes. Question number 2: explain why his disease was especially painful to him. It was a disease that, although did not affect his family or other his friends, but it definitely affected him more. Why? Because this was connected with his hearing skills, and because he was in love with music. He used to breathe music, live music. It was very difficult for him to convince himself that how he's going to survive without music. Something that he could not live without. And how will he be able to produce compositions when he cannot hear, when he would cannot be not able to hear his music, or someone else's music, in that case. So that really traumatized him. That really left a very negative impact when he realized that he was losing his ability to hear. You can mention that in 45 words. Question number 3. In your own words, write how Beethoven may have expressed his despair about his deafness in the letter. Imagine you are Beethoven, and you're writing a letter where you are disclosing the secret that you have become deaf, and that there is no cure about it. When he went to for this long holiday, and he wanted to be left alone, and he went to this small village, um, outside Vienna, called Heiligenstadt. So this is when he wrote about his trouble, his problem, his disease. And he also mentioned that how he wanted to kill himself, but there's one thing that stopped him to do, and that which was music, that kept him alive. And he said that until I brought forth all that I felt was within me, and so I endured this wretched existence. He wanted to bring out all the things that he had within himself. He wanted to express it in the form of music. And that is why he sings that although there is no charm in his life to remain alive, but he went on and dragged his life so that he could produce more beautiful compositions. He's trying to say that. So you have to mention that as Beethoven in 100 words, as if you're convincing or confessing, sorry, not 100, sorry, 70 words that you are Beethoven. Question number 4. Why were his sketchbooks so important? If you remember, and if you go to the previous page, page number 4, 115, after he announced that he's become deaf, and he did not stop making music, creating music. So how do you think he was used to get inspired? And when it was difficult to talk with his colleagues or his friends or his family, he started keeping a note of, he made a conversation book where he used to write the questions and the other people used to write the answers on the book, and that is how they used to communicate. The other thing that this question says that why was sketchbook so important? So whenever Beethoven used to go for a walk, go for these long walks in the wild, in the forest, he always used to carry a sketchbook. And why? Because this is how he used to keep a note of all the things that inspired him, from his inner resources, and actually contributed to the originality of his compositions, that inspired him, that forced him to write and make some original beautiful music. So he used to go for his long walk with his sketchbook, and these sketchbooks were basically the was the treasure, I should say, was the place where he used to store all his musical ideas. Although something that he couldn't hear, but he used to express it. So the sketchbooks revealed how Beethoven actually started collecting all his strength and courage to overcome his problem, his disease, his deafness, and then he used to correct himself again and again, till he used to come to the most desirable music. He used to correct himself again and again. So you have to write that in 85 words.